Welcome back. Now here is your national news. The Federal Trade Commission is making it difficult for two mid-state health systems to merge. Monday was the first court hearing between the government and the two health systems, Pinnacle Health and Penn State Health. Lawyers for the government argued that the merging of the two would create higher prices for health care. Penn State Health argued that if it does not merge with Pinnacle, then it will have to build a new $277 million tower for the patient beds. The cost will then have to be passed on to consumers. The federal court hearing is expected to last all week.
The price of mailing a letter fell for the first time in nearly a century this past Sunday. The cost of postage stamps has declined from 49 cents to 47 cents. The U.S. Postal Service suffered from financial losses during the Great Recession as businesses cut back on mailing. To help make up for the shortfall, it got permission to increase rates in 2014, raising the price of a stamp by 3 cents to its previous 49 cents. But that increase was only meant to be temporary, and it has to give up 2 cents of that increase this year. The last time there was a decrease in the price of postage was in July 1919, when stamp prices dropped from 3 cents to 2 cents. This is only the third price decrease on record going back to the Civil War.
Solitary confinement. At least 23 hours a day, spent inside a 6-foot by 9-foot room. It is a fate that is supposed to be reserved for the most serious offenders. Inside New York's prison system, on Tuesday, a rally was held in Albany to end the practice. Jeff Reddick was there and has our report.
3 years of his life, Johnny Perez was locked inside a concrete cell like this one, roughly the size of an elevator.
I did a lot of push-ups. I counted the bricks in the wall. I rolled on the wall. I rolled a lot.
It was nearly enough to kill him. The voices in his head tried.
Sometimes they said maybe you should kill yourself. You know, it might be easier than doing this time.
3 years now since finishing a sentence for armed robbery, Johnny Perez is working to end the practice of solitary confinement in New York's prisons. He had plenty of support Tuesday in a rally at the Capitol.
23 to 24 hours a day, every day, without any meaningful human contact or programs.
Among those speaking was Alicia Barraza of Albany. Her son, Benjamin Van Zant, grew up here and committed suicide in solitary confinement. Ben had a history of mental illness.
There are over 870 people on the OMH caseload that are in solitary confinement each day. This is inhumane, and it is torture for these individuals, and it needs to stop.
A bill before the state legislature could do just that. Called the HALT Act, it would limit solitary confinement sentences to a maximum of 15 consecutive days, no more than 20 days in any 2-month period. The bill would also let solitary inmates out of their cell for 4 hours each day, much more than the 1 hour currently allowed.
We're not saying people should not be held accountable. What we are saying is that there is no situation in which we have to treat someone inhumanely in order to hold them accountable.
The alternative, advocates say, is far too painful.
That was Jeff Reddick reporting. Yesterday, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan silenced speculation about his presidential potential during a formal press conference. Ryan announced he would not seek or accept the Republican Party's nomination for the presidency. Ryan additionally proposed clarification to the nomination process.
State police said a trooper shot and wounded a man armed with a shotgun at a busy Pennsylvania Walmart after the man robbed the pharmacy for prescription drugs. State police received a call Thursday night from the Walmart in Shrewsbury about the robbery. A trooper who was in the area spotted the suspect as he was leaving the store and told the man to drop the gun. In response, the suspect raised his weapon. The trooper's bullet struck the man in the chest. State police report the suspect was taken to the hospital with no immediate calls on his condition. As per usual procedure, the trooper is on administrative leave pending the results of an investigation into the shooting.
North Carolina's Governor Pat McCrory wants to reverse part of a controversial new law. Parts of the law prohibits terminated state workers from suing for discrimination. Governor McCrory says that right should be reinstated. His critics say that's not enough. Laura Leslie has more.
The executive order expands discrimination protections for state employees on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. Equality NC Director Chris Groh says that's a great first step.
workplace protections for state employees, that is important. That is something that our allies have been fighting for 10 years and not just the short term. So we're glad to see that.
But Scro says the order doubles down on the restroom law and still doesn't allow any local protections for LGBT people in employment or housing.
The governor is serious about this being a concerning piece of legislation, which clearly he's indicated today it is, that it needs to be repealed in full and not just piecemeal.
Another part of the order calls on lawmakers to restore the law that allows workers to sue for discrimination in state court. Some Republican lawmakers say they'd like to repeal the section of House Bill 2 that took away that right. Representative Nelson Dollar said House leaders would consider the request, but he defended the change, saying he believes federal court is a better option anyway.
There was some concern that had been expressed about losing the state court option, which is, frankly, a very smaller option and a more limited option.
Right, but it's also less expensive and faster, and that's what a lot of people are concerned about. They say that the federal system is slower and more difficult and with a higher bar.
I think when you look at those two, the remedies in the federal system are quite a bit more robust.
That was Laura Leslie reporting. Later, which Hollywood celebrity is having a baby with her estranged husband?
And all about a very troublesome Florida cat.